We're now going to hear from a great friend of the Iranian people and their resistance for freedom, who has stood on the right side for 3 decades now. Senator Robert Torricelli served 20 years in the United States Congress, both as a congressman and as a senator representing the state of New Jersey. During his tenure, Senator Torricelli served in key congressional committees of Foreign Affairs in the House, Foreign Relations in the Senate, as well as the Select Committee on Intelligence. He joined the leadership in the Senate in his first term as a Democratic senator. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a very warm welcome to Senator Bob Torricelli.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. It's a pleasure to be with you. So forgive me, I came to speak to all of you, but I want to share a word with Mrs. Rajavi, who I know is watching us today. Because what Joe Lieberman said is true. As the Vice President was speaking, I was thinking of Masoud Rajavi leaving Tehran. I was thinking of the massacre of so many brothers and sisters in 1988, of Ashraf, of the cowardly attacks on people in their sleep in the camps, of the leaving of Iraq. I was thinking of all those years and all that sacrifice. And it's just then that Joe Lieberman leaned over to me and he said, "We've come a long way, baby." Now I know that Raisi sitting in Tehran is thinking, well, that was then, and that's the past. If you hear my voice today, listen carefully. You ain't seen nothing yet. We're coming for you. We're coming for you. You know it, in this room, we are all immigrants. We're of different faiths, from different countries. We come from different places, but we probably share in an extraordinary American quality. We always basically believe in every human being there is decency. And over time, goodness triumphs if you just give it a chance. It's a wonderful American quality. It's also not always true. Sometimes people are just evil. And sometimes things don't just always work out on their own. Sometimes history needs to be pushed. Things will not change in Iran unless we make them change. And sometimes you need to just look history in the eye and accept it the way that it is. It's been 40 years. The leadership in Tehran is not getting better. They've gone from bad to selecting a war criminal, a leader of genocide, as president of Iran. It's not getting better. They've gone from talking about using nuclear power for peaceful purposes to enrichment that can mean nothing but the development of an atom bomb. They've talked about re-entering the international community, but sponsor terrorism all over the region. It is not getting better, it is getting worse. I love our quality of optimism. I love the American belief in the future. Let's accept reality. This regime must go by any means, and it must happen now. I mean, it's almost unbelievable. But Iran now has a president who's afraid to go to Scotland, can't come to New York because he's afraid of getting arrested as a war criminal. You can't make this stuff up. The isolation is almost complete. Now, you know, you've heard my voice so many times. You're wonderful to hear me again. And I know you're entitled, after 40 years, to wonder when. And to look at people like me and say, you told me last year this was going to happen. You told me 5 years ago, and we're still here, and my family's still imprisoned, and they're still poor, and they're still hungry, and people are still getting killed. That's all true. That's all true. And the truth is, if you were to bring someone here to the State Department today, they'd tell you, well, the regime's weak, things are bad, but they're in power. Yeah. I was a kid in the Carter administration when Jimmy Carter was told Iran was an island of stability. It was not even a pre-revolutionary state, and a month later the Shah was in Panama. I've heard this. I've heard this analysis. I know these words. Yeah, these dictators, these despots always look strong until they're not. We all remember Russia in '89. Of course, we remember the Shah. History is full of these instances. When you least expect it, you know they're going to fall. You know it is soon. You know it is going to happen because you know the Iranian people. I was thinking, hearing about the pandemic that is killing tens of thousands of people in Iran, hearing that 4 out of 5 Iranians live in poverty, the desperation with which people must be living with absolutely no personal freedom. And I was thinking, it's not the Iranian people. Everyone in Camp Ashraf has been inoculated. Everyone in Camp Ashraf has a place to sleep, a home, a job, and food, and freedom. It's not the Iranian people, it's the Iranian regime. When we were speaking with Vice President Pence and he thanked us all for our involvement, Senator Lieberman and I both said to him, of our collective 40 years in American politics, I have never seen a bipartisan coalition in America with the depth of the support that the MEK has. I've never seen anything like it. Never. It just never happened. And so if you can hear my voice in a village or town across Iran, let me leave you with this thought, sharing a bit of that American optimism. There is an alternative. There is. There is one organization that has never compromised with the terror, never sat at a table and divided up your freedoms, never participated in the genocide, isn't responsible for your poverty. There's one. And that one organization has the means, the leadership, the focus, and on day one, the international support to rejoin the international community. That organization is the MEK, and Mrs. Rajavi is its leader, and we are the answer. There is at the darkest of days in South Africa, when apartheid was at its strongest, the resistance was at its weakest, Robert Kennedy spoke in Cape Town to a group of students who had no power and no chance against the regime. And he said, "Never doubt the ability of a small and determined group of people to change the course of history, because nothing else ever has." A single woman united France. One planter in Virginia inspired the world. One priest in Germany united the church. Never doubt. Well, we are not a few. We are not one man or one woman. And we are not weak, but we are not to be underestimated. If you wonder where the future of Iran lies, look at the person next to you. Look to Mrs. Rajavi and thank the days, because the day will come when you will have your grandchild on your knee and you will say, "Be proud, my son, my daughter, because when Iran was on the line, the future was to be decided. Your family, your uncle, your father, your grandfather stood with Mrs. Rajavi, stood with the MEK, and reclaimed the future of the great Iranian people." Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Senator Torricelli, for your unwavering support and commitment. We thank you.